you helped lead the efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. Will you
Oh, gosh.
Next question.
I just want to congratulate Mike Johnson. He will be a great Speaker of the House, and we were very happy to have helped.
And welcome back to Square Off. Former President Donald Trump suggesting he got his man in the House Speaker's chair. That could come in handy after next year's presidential election. Mike Johnson did indeed lead the failed effort to overturn Trump's defeat in Arizona and several other states in 2020. A couple more Arizona connections. 3 right-wing lawmakers from our state helped clear the way for Johnson by revolting against previous Speaker Kevin McCarthy. And Johnson was a lawyer for Scottsdale-based Alliance Defending Freedom. That's the Christian law firm that's fought against LGBT rights all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. But will Arizona Republicans come to rue the day Mike Johnson was elected Speaker after 8 hard-right Republicans forced McCarthy's historic ouster? We'll get some answers from our insider panel, Democratic consultant Tony Cani of Slingshot Campaigns. He was a top Biden campaign official in Arizona and managed Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego's first election campaign. Also, Tyler Montague, a Republican activist at the state and local levels for more than a decade. Welcome to Square Off. Any disclosures we need to make about candidates, campaigns you're involved in, have a financial connection to that we're going to talk about today? Tony?
Nope. None here.
Tyler? All right. Let's get going. Tyler, your take on where Mike Johnson will steer the House through the end of this year with the potential shutdown looming and into next?
Well, I think it's going to be a shocking experience for him. You know, usually your far-right ideologues, or far-left for that matter, they love to throw bombs from the sidelines, but they don't actually govern. And when they're put in that position to actually have to govern, they realize that the U.S. House of Representatives is not set up to just have any one party get their way. There has to be compromise. And so he's going to have that problem. And the problem for the Republicans is that they inherit now in campaigns everything that Mike Johnson has done. The Democrats will get to put that label on people in swing districts, and that's going to be a difficult challenge.
Swing districts like David Schweikert in CD1, Juan Ciscomani, freshman in CD6 in southern Arizona. Tony, his views on social issues like abortion, LGBT rights are pretty far to the right. He said in an interview with Sean Hannity, if you want to know what he thinks, read the Bible. That's different, isn't it? Yeah. For someone who's reached this level, second in line to the presidency.
Yeah, and it's wildly out of touch with the American people. You know, I mean, he has said before that gay marriage potentially could be the end of democracy. Now, trying to overthrow the 2020 election, that is not the end of democracy to him, but gay marriage would be. He wants to criminalize, what he called deviant gay sex. He is a dangerous far-right ideologue who I think that maybe not everybody in the caucus knew. I don't know. I have a feeling that the amount of information that's going to be coming out about him will feel a lot like what people learned about Sarah Palin after she was selected, but it's going to be a little bit more extreme, a lot more extreme.
So 3 members of the Gang of 8 hard-right Republicans who ousted Kevin McCarthy are Arizonans, Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs, and Eli Crane. They won, didn't they? They got their guy.
Yeah, they got their guy, and they broke it, now they bought it. And those guys don't care because they're in very safe Republican districts, so they don't have to deal with the consequences of it. Because another thing that will happen is that the Speaker of the House usually leads fundraising nationally to support these candidates. And so now, will Mike Johnson be able to reconnect with those donors? Kevin McCarthy raised all the money that's sitting there, and, do they want to, fund an election denier? Or is he going to be able to do the job? So it's not just the ideological positions that he's taken that will hurt these swing candidates. It's his ability to fundraise and support them.
That's a big part of the job.
It's a big part of the job, and we don't know if he can do it.
Now, it appears he's getting a pass on the November shutdown. They will allow him to negotiate something, not, again, do the kind of line item by line item vote on spending. But how tight a leash will the moderates, if I can call them that, in the Republican conference keep on this guy?
I don't know, because a lot of the moderates like Juan Ciscomani, you know, who you mentioned, they voted for him. Like Ciscomani voted for Jim Jordan twice, right? Like I think that they have made a calculation that the dysfunction of not being able to pick a speaker was worse than picking somebody who will shut the government down. I think that's what's happening here, because there's no way that they are thinking that they're going to be able to have a good faith negotiation with the White House and Senate Democrats with this speaker and all the promises that he's made to the people to get the vote.
Okay, a lot to watch closely in the next few weeks. Let's turn to Decision 2024 and the free-for-all in the West Valley's 8th Congressional District. It's a safe Republican seat, according to Sam Almy at Uplift Campaigns. Donald Trump won by 13 points in 2020. The Republicans on the statewide ballot in 2022 all won by about 10, 11 points, so very safe. Debbie Lesko has retired, and suddenly it's carpetbaggers parade here. Blake Masters, who lives in Tucson, lost the U.S. Senate race. He's running. Abe Hamadeh lost the Attorney General's race. He lives in Scottsdale. He's running. Ben Toma, Arizona House Speaker, was endorsed by Debbie Lesko. He does live in Peoria, so there's that, but he has not announced yet. And State Senator Anthony Kern might also jump into that race. Again, a very safe Republican seat, so no surprise that it's crowded. This is your team, Tyler. How does this primary shake out?
Well, in a crowded primary, anything could happen. So Toma could have a chance. He has some on-the-ground credibility. He's a legitimate conservative. And I think they could paint the others as carpetbaggers, which they are.
Now, I have to point out, I've gotten a lot of questions about this. Under the U.S. Constitution, House candidates have to live in the state where they run, but not the district. So you can live in Tucson, though I think Blake Masters has a real estate agent. He's 125 miles from Peoria, Arizona. Is this the longest ride for a carpetbagger in recent memory?
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I think he had a Google alert set up, you know, like wherever anybody he was gonna jump in and run. It's pretty embarrassing. And if you're you know, a common sense Republican, which my friends think they don't exist anymore. I think they do exist. Right. This is bad. This is terrible news for you, right? And already the primary is looking like it's going to be just a battle to see who can kiss up to Trump the most. It's already started.
Is that going to be decisive? Because Kari Lake has endorsed Hamadeh. Trump might play or not, but if he does endorse, is that decisive?
Well, look at Tom Galvin, who won a supervisor race. He won it because 3 of the Taliban wing of the Republican Party split each other's votes. And so it's not decisive, but yes, Trump's endorsement means something.
But it's going to take courage. It's going to take courage from a Republican who's willing to stand up like Galvin did and say, this stuff is BS. And, you know, there was only 2 candidates in the entire election in 2022 on the Republican Party who were willing to do that, and Galvin was one of them.
All right. Keep watching that closely.